Yo, it's your boy Dctree, and this is Dctree-Nation, where we cover hoops and heroes. And today we talking hoops. We talking the San Antonio Spurs, y'all. And I gotta tell you, they're doing pretty good in the bubble. They just beat New Orleans. I'm proud of them for doing that. Unfortunately, though, we did lose D. White to injury. I'm hoping the injury isn't that big of a deal. Reports are telling us that it's a knee bruise or a thigh bruise or something of that nature. So hopefully he can bounce back quickly. But the one thing that's been going on in the bubble that has been causing some friction, I should say, in Spurs Nation amongst fans is the fact that D. White has been playing outstanding. Averaging over 20 points a game. He's been the offensive go-to player for the Spurs. Meanwhile, Murray is still doing what Murray does. He's defensively been sound, and he's averaging around 12 points. In this past game, he had like 18 points per game and whatnot. But people are really on him about his decision making, about some of the mistakes he has made in the bubble, and overall, he's not necessarily a true point guard. He's probably more of a defensive two. But hey, because of his size, he's going to play the point guard position. The issue I'm having, and the reason why I'm making this video is, Murray is getting some unwarranted criticism. He does deserve some criticism, but it's unwarranted. Lonnie Walker also has been struggling in the bubble. He's been getting some criticism from fans, which is somewhat warranted. But you got to remember, like I said in other videos, Lonnie Walker hasn't really been playing all year. Okay, and he's getting consistent time. He's trying to figure out where he belongs in the Spurs system, figure out his way as a player. And to be honest with you, although he shot like 3 for 14, and I know that number may be wrong, check me in the comments, but 3 for 14 in the last game. Other than that, he was defensively sound, which is something that's not always, going well for Lonnie Walker. But he's missing fans' expectations. And then I see D. White, he's getting all the accolades, deservingly so. I can't talk today. But he deserves the accolades, D. White. But at the same time, I had to figure out what was going on between Spurs Nation and D. White, Lonnie Walker, and Murray. And they really hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. The difference is that Murray and Lonnie Walker talk way too much. Okay, they talk to the media more than they have to. They are very present on social media. And coming off the Kawhi situation where Kawhi was super quiet, I can see fans embracing Murray, embracing Lonnie Walker, and how much they talk about their games online. But when you do that, you set the bar higher. When you talk a good game, you set the bar higher. And Murray in particular has been guilty of that. He says all the right things. He's very confident in his abilities. He's very confident in the Spurs organization. And that's a great thing. You want that from a player, but that's a double-edged sword. You got to perform on the court, okay? So Murray has had some solid games. I think the game before this, he had 11, 6, and 6, which is really a good game, but people were upset with him for having a poor game. But that's kind of Murray's fault because he does talk a big game. I can't defend him on that mark. He does talk a lot. He is very present on social media, and it has raised expectations for him. And then if you think about things like the sneaker deal or whatnot, that has raised expectations for him. So people aren't expecting an 11-6 game. They're expecting the game he had against New Orleans, like an 18, 5, and 2 and 2 steals every night. Consistency is the big thing for Murray. The same thing with Lonnie Walker. He had the talk with his dad, and he promised fans he's going to be the Lonnie Walker they deserve. Why say that, man? Why not just keep that conversation private and play accordingly? You don't have to let fans know everything. So they unwillingly raising expectations for themselves, while D. White is very quiet and he lets his court play do the talking. And it's that aspect of D. White's game that I think Murray in particular can learn from. The idea that you don't have to voice all your thoughts and feelings to the media in person or on social media. And Lonnie Walker, he's a younger player than those guys, but he can learn that as well. When you talk to the media, it's a double-edged sword. When you're on social media, it's a double-edged sword because you're raising expectations. You're raising your fan base, of course, but you're raising expectations. Look at D. White. D. White has done all his talking on the court. I don't even know if he has an Instagram account. If he does, let me know in the comments. And that's how you're supposed to do it. That's how Duncan did it. That's how D-Rob did it. That's how Manu and Tony Parker did it. And don't get me wrong, I kind of saw this maybe a year or two ago with Murray, and I kind of got blasted for saying that because these guys are young. And I'm not saying delete your social media. That's not what I'm saying. But I understood that social media sometimes hurts you more than it helps you. And this is perfect example because Lonnie Walker, he had that, promise to fans, and he had a solid game the other night. But then in New Orleans, he only makes 3 buckets, 2 or 3 buckets, maybe 4 buckets. And, people are bringing up what he said, the promise he made to the fans. If you don't make the promise, then you don't have that level of expectation. And that's what D. White does. D. White is very quiet, a quiet assassin. Hell, that's how Kawhi did it. He let his court play do the talking for him. And I'm not saying Murray or Lonnie need to change their personality completely. That's not what I'm saying. But if you back off some of that, then maybe your 11-6-6 game is looked at as being better. Maybe your 14-point game is looked at as being better versus, talking a big game or being very vocal. People are going to expect you to drop 20. People are expecting you to have a spectacular play. People are expecting you to do more than just play great defense. Those things matter, and that's the number one lesson they can learn from D. White. All right, guys, this is it for this one. I love what the Spurs are doing. I love the young movement, whether we make the playoffs or not. Just a little constructive criticism from my boys Murray and Lonnie Walker. I love what White is doing. We all in this together. Stop pitting these players against each other, y'all. Thanks for watching. For more information on hoops, please sub to the channel. Let me in the comment section what you feel about the situation or how you feel about the situation. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.